I don't think you're fit to hand the bureau. But here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose.
It's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my time.
I follow you on your social media posts that tear this country apart.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm not afraid of you.
FBI Director Kash Patel, the guy who swore under oath to defend FBI agents from political retaliation, has undergone one of the most vicious public takedowns in modern Senate history. Senator Cory Booker stepped in armed with detailed proof, specific names, and zero tolerance for deflection. What ensued wasn't simply a heated confrontation. It was a comprehensive indictment of Patel's leadership and a look into exactly how far the partisanship of America's greatest law enforcement organization has gone.
So I thought it would be fun to go on a manhunt of government gangsters together. And I'm so proud to be at CPAC with so many great Americans who represent Donald Trump's army to take this country back.
In 8 months, Patel stands accused of organizing a merciless purge, weakening the CBI at the same time the nation needs its strongest. From closed-door negotiations about terminating agents before he was even confirmed, to skirting direct questions about his own grand jury testimony in the Mar-a-Lago case, his responses generated many more issues than they addressed. This hearing revealed everything: loyalty tests above merit, experienced agents driven out, vital task groups dismantled, and 20% of FBI resources shifted to immigration enforcement instead of tackling genuine threats. And what you just heard was merely the last 30 seconds of almost 10 minutes of some of the most harsh questioning a sitting FBI director has encountered in recent memory. But before all of it occurred, there was one question, a single question, Kash Patel could not answer properly. And that question is when things began to unravel. Let's watch.
I asked you whether you had any knowledge or discussions about removing FBI officials and installing political personnel before you were confirmed to that position. And I wonder, did you then understand or have conversations with the White House about the intentions to do so?
Before I was confirmed?
Yes, sir.
Did I have discussions with the White House to remove FBI personnel?
Yes.
No.
So you're saying that you had no discussions with the White House before you were in the position about the removal of any personnel from the agency?
As I was preparing for my confirmation hearing, I had numerous discussions involving the type of people that would be employed, and that those that were failing to meet the mark at the FBI would no longer be employed if I were confirmed.
And I'm assuming that mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration.
No, you're wrong.
Patel just confessed it on the record. He had multiple contacts with the White House about eliminating FBI people before he was even confirmed, before he had any legal power whatsoever. This is a significant infraction. He attempts to hide behind nebulous terms like the type of people failing to meet the mark. But everyone knows what that mark truly is: slavish allegiance to Donald Trump, not skill, not integrity, and especially not the Constitution.
We're blessed by God to have Donald Trump be our juggernaut of justice, to be our leader, to be our continued warrior in the arena.
Kash Patel didn't only mention the purging, he helped plan it while still a private individual. That alone should preclude him from commanding the FBI. Watch the interaction again. Patel initially responded yes, then swiftly amended himself to no, before settling on a cleverly crafted dodge. That flip-flopping is damning. It fits nicely with a current federal complaint filed in Washington, D.C. 3 highly distinguished veterans, Brian Driscoll, Stephen Jensen, and Spencer Evans, are suing Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi, accusing them of pursuing a campaign of vengeance. According to the complaint, Patel privately conceded to Driscoll that dismissing agents related to Trump investigations was likely unconstitutional, but he had no option since the FBI attempted to throw the president in prison and he hadn't forgotten. This is the terrible reality Booker presented from the very first inquiry. Kash Patel isn't defending the FBI, he is shattering it, turning it into a political weapon and risking America's security for personal allegiance. And every single American will pay the price if this continues.
Okay. I'd like to revisit another subject from that hearing. Did you testify, you did testify before the grand jury that President Trump had declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Is that correct?
I don't have the grand jury transcript. That's why I released it. Whatever it says is the best evidence.
That's what you said to Senator Whitehouse, that your grand jury testimony was publicly released. It has not been. In fact, in July, a court denied a news outlet's bid to get that transcript. But the court said quite clearly that you are free to discuss your grand jury testimony. So I ask you again, did you testify before the grand jury that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified document case?
And that is why I took your invitation to work with the department and the court to have that transcript released. And the transcript is the best evidence of what I said then.
So you're saying right now this committee can have access to what you said before the grand jury?
To whatever was released. Under my understanding, Senator, that the Department of Justice
You and I both understand the law. Let me finish. I understand under Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Procedure, a grand jury witness, in this case you, is not barred from sharing their grand jury testimony. This is an oversight hearing. This is germane to your integrity and credibility. You know right now whether or not you testified that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because the premise of your question is inaccurate.
Patel's inability to offer a clear response concerning his grand jury testimony is nothing short of appalling. This is the guy now commanding the FBI, the agency Americans depend on for truth and justice. Yet he dodges a basic yes or no question on whether he testified that Trump declassified the Mar-a-Lago materials. He hides behind procedural justifications as the nation sees him lose his own credibility in real time. During his confirmation, Patel claimed the transcript was already available. It wasn't. A federal judge had explicitly refused a news outlet's request to unseal the transcript, meaning Patel's own assertion was false the moment he made it. Under Rule 6E, as a grand jury witness, he is legally allowed to discuss his own testimony. Yet when pushed, he squirmed and refused to respond. This is not trivial gamesmanship. It gets to the core of Patel's ethics. A director who cannot be honest about his prior sworn statements cannot be trusted to command the nation's premier law enforcement organization today. Booker deconstructed the evasion piece by piece, yet Patel still chose deflection over openness. This trend shows a deeper problem. A guy more interested with safeguarding Donald Trump's narrative than respecting the rule of law. His purposeful stonewalling indicates to every agent that truth is optional when it interferes with the president's goals. Patel isn't defending the FBI. He is eroding its credibility, one evasive response at a time. And the cost will be measured in lost public trust and diminished national security. The deeper this listening goes, the clearer the pattern appears.
And
there is no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is truth or not.
How do you How do you know what was asked in the grand jury if you weren't there?
Mr. Patel, this is a mockery you're making of this hearing and simple questions.
It's a simple question. If you have
Mr.
a transcript,
during
you can
your
read the
nomination,
question, but you don't have it.
You promised that, quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. When I asked you, are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with the Trump administration, you explicitly said under oath that you were not aware of any plans to punish FBI agents associated with criminal investigations of Donald Trump. I don't believe you were truthful. Firing FBI employees based solely on the cases that they are investigating, their case assignments, is illegal, and you know that. A new lawsuit that's been discussed numerous times, filed by 3 FBI officials, alleges that you carried out Donald Trump's campaign of retribution, in quotes, against FBI employees for, quote, failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty. One of those plaintiffs has been discussed today, Brian Driscoll. Now, we know 20 years of distinguished service to the FBI before you terminated him. Special agent in charge of FBI's Newark field office, where he operated with distinction. Medal of Valor winner, Shield of Bravery awards. He's a patriot. You terminated Driscoll via a letter dated October 8th, 2025, and in that letter you said that you were firing him pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution. Well, you're not the President of the United States, and so I'm wondering under what authority you were allowed to terminate him.
That matter is under litigation, and I'm not able to discuss it.
Okay, well, discuss this. Did you have discussions with Stephen Miller about firing this particular person or about his continuance in the FBI?
Not that I recall.
How often do you speak to Stephen Miller?
Frequently on our Homeland Security task forces.
You frequently talk with Stephen Miller about subjects other than Homeland Security task force issues, correct?
I frequently talk to Mr. Miller about Homeland Security task forces.
Has Stephen Miller ever given you his opinions on how to run your agency?
Mr. Miller's interagency operations are invaluable to the FBI. That's what we talk about.
So you frequently discuss your job and your responsibilities with Stephen Miller and Pam Bondi, I imagine, as well.
Absolutely. She's the Attorney General.
Understood. Okay. Donald Trump promised to make us all safer. You have pushed out senior FBI agents with decades of knowledge and experience. In fact, this is the first time in FBI history that neither the director nor the deputy director have any experience with the FBI. You've shifted the agency's priorities primarily to pursuing Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agenda. According to ICE data, the Cato Institute, which is a conservative think tank, found that 20% of all agents have been diverted from their work to assist ICE immigration enforcement. 20%. Part of this operation is the work of mass law enforcement who jump out of cars, snatch people off streets at churches, schools, and their jobs and hospitals. Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement, yes or no?
The premise of what you say is entirely false.
Have there been any FBI agents who investigate foreign domestic terrorism?
You don't get to say America is not safer under this leadership.
I am not saying
America is safer because of the work of the FBI.
You're making a presumption of premise.
4,700 children.
Sir,
we have seen 6,000 weapons and 23,000 violent felons have been arrested.
FBI agents who investigate human trafficking have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. You are not denying that FBI agents who are on the task force that fight against Russian oligarchs have not been reassigned. Public Corrections Squad, reassigned. People who defend children, reassigned. You're not denying that. I've seen you time and time again attack my colleagues' premises of questions as a way to not answer the question.
Kash Patel's treatment of Brian Driscoll is especially damaging. A 22-year veteran, Medal of Valor recipient, and chief of the Newark field office, a patriot with a flawless record, was terminated with a letter that blatantly referenced Article 2 of the Constitution, as if Patel himself were the president. This wasn't a typical personnel decision. It was a political execution. His numerous contacts with Stephen Miller, a major architect of the administration's hardline policies, raise even more red flags. When asked if Miller affected agency operations, Patel's replies were purposefully unclear. The message is obvious. Decisions on who remains and who leaves at the FBI are being dictated by political operators outside the agency, not by law enforcement professionals. This is the terrible reality happening within the FBI under Patel. Career agents who put their lives on the line are being replaced by individuals who pass a loyalty test. Competence is increasingly secondary. Loyalty is everything, and the repercussions for the rule of law are serious. 20% of the FBI's manpower has been redirected to low-level immigration enforcement. Critical task teams combating electoral tampering, foreign influence, and public corruption have been secretly abolished. Entire divisions committed to safeguarding minors from predators and eliminating human trafficking networks have been left understaffed. This is not reform. This is sabotage. Patel confessed it would take 14 years to recover from the vacancies his own cleansing generated. That one figure should alarm every American. While the FBI hemorrhages veteran agents with decades of institutional expertise, the dangers from Russia, China, and domestic radicals do not wait. The agency is being hollowed down at the worst possible moment by changing priorities to accommodate the administration's political objectives. Patel is eroding America's primary line of defense. Criminals, terrorists, and hostile foreign powers are the actual beneficiaries of this turmoil. The FBI that once stood as a hallmark of integrity and professionalism is being converted into something unrecognizable, a political shell of its former self. The cost will not be counted in Washington hearings, but in lives placed at danger and justice denied. The question is, so let me close with this.
So let me end with this. I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe. I believe that we are more vulnerable to a major event, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. You've gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience, and were working on cases that were critical. You've been purging thousands of serious law enforcement officials who spent their careers keeping us safe, only to lower hiring standards in order to find anyone to replace them. And shockingly, you admitted in this hearing to Senator Coons that it would take 14 years to fill the vacancies at your agency. Many are the result of your purge. 20% of FBI agents are doing low-level immigration enforcement instead of their mission-critical work. You've disbanded entire task forces that stop election interference, foreign influence, public corruption. And who benefits from this? Well, corrupt people benefit from it. Criminals benefit from it. Vladimir Putin benefits from it. And it really makes me wonder who you're looking out for. It makes me think we can't trust you as a nation. You swear to release the Epstein files, but now you're withholding the Epstein files. You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect. You know nothing about plans to remove FBI agents, yet you're directly involved in those plans. In the words of an ex-FBI official, you are overseeing, and I quote, generational destruction of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to hand the Bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir. That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is
I
my
follow
time.
you on your social media posts, that
It is
tears
my
this country
time
apart.
to
There
address
should be a
your
unifying-
falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can try
embarrassment
all
to the
you
division
want
in this
to
country.
not
Senator,
take
it is my
responsibility
time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making a
time is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what my
you
time
tell-
is.
Senator-
You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my
you
time's
have-
over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you. sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of